Okay, so this video is going to be very unrehearsed. I haven't got any notes of any sorts on this, but today I want to give my thoughts on the Star Wars book that came out that is based on Star Wars Rogue One, which is coming out tomorrow. And yeah, I'm talking about it. I'm going to try and get this recorded, edited, whatever, as fast as I possibly can because I want to get this video out for you, giving my thoughts on the Star Wars book Catalyst. This is the best Star Wars book I've read so far. I think it is wonderful the way they tightly weave it in to the overall picture of the universe they are creating. It seamlessly puts itself within the dawn of the Empire and even before that with the Clone Wars. It's very interesting the way they tie everything in, with the couple main characters being Galen Erso and Orson Krennic, who are, I guess, friends, like science buddies from years back. They were in a special science division and they worked together and they hadn't seen each other for a while. Something came up. Basically, Galen starts working on some Death Stars. He had a unique set of skills that were concentrated on kyber crystals and the sort of fabrication of these crystals and having them as a use of energy and being able to provide renewable energy throughout the galaxy. And Orson Krennic had different ideas for it. And it's so well told the way you have these two characters and one character thinks that, oh, this guy's cool. We got this good plan. We're going to change the world with my science. And instead, he's trying to build a death machine. The kyber crystal is meant to charge the inside of the Death Star. And in this book, the ending doesn't end where I thought it would. And I love that. It leaves some really interesting things to still discover. And I love that. I think we're going to learn a lot in Rogue One. And it makes me more excited to watch the movie because I was left on a bit of a cliffhanger with the book, with that particular part, with it sort of just ending. And you're like, but there's no conclusion, I want to know what's going to happen. That's why you have the movie. But even beyond that, you have this underlying storyline between Jyn and his wife, Lyra, and the birth of their daughter, Jyn, who is the star of Rogue One. And it's really well told. You get to see them. They're imprisoned on a planet. There's a lot of secrecy. There's a divide between the two. You've got Galen, who is in love with his science. He loves kyber crystals. He wants to be able to research and research and research. And with Orson Krennic, who is just providing these kyber crystals, which they understand that they came directly from lightsabers. There's a part in the movie where they give, Orson Krennic gives this box of crystals. And I'm pretty sure they said that was the crystals of the Jedi that Palpatine killed at the end of Episode 3. And that is such a cool callback to me that, where did those go? What did they do with them? They give it in for research. They didn't, keep it anywhere because it was Jedi. But no, they just put it to the side and use it for research for their huge Death Star. But through the writing, I was really able to get with the relationship between Galen and Lyra. They had a few clashes which really worked to build their relationship. And when they had this sort of divide, you have these two people who loved each other and this big barrier in between because science or a loved one. Also a cool relationship in this film is the relationship between Orson Krennic and Tarkin. This is a interesting relationship I hope they build upon in Rogue One. I feel like they are going to have some pretty heated moments in that film. I mean, Tarkin's in the trail. It was done so well in the book that I just expect to see a scene, just a line, come on. Even if it was from a hologram, I don't know. But the jealousy and the roasting that Tarkin does on Orson and vice versa is just so awesome to see. I love to see those sort of interactions happen within this universe because I didn't know they had a rivalry. I didn't know there was something between them. Then you read the book and you understand why and how Tarkin kept getting ranked up and Orson was sort of in the middle and he was a little bit jealous of the whole situation. And Orson was getting put up in the ranks, being behind the construction of the Death Star, the biggest machine, the biggest battle station in existence, and Tarkin wasn't, and that made him jealous. So that you've got this back and forth that is really well done and utilized in such a great way. They don't overdo it, they don't underdo it, they do it enough to just get me really interested to see maybe more. But if they don't do it, I'm not going to go crazy. I appreciate what they did within the book. Also, speaking of the Clone Wars, I thought they did a great job of exploring the planets that we've seen before. You get some stuff in Geonosis, which details the construction of the Death Star. I mean, the Geonosians were an integral part into the actual construction of the Death Star. They were building it. Part of what they said within the book was they kept breaking it. Probably part of why it took a little bit longer, but also because of Galen's situation morally. The Geonosians, you get to see these different characters and Orson's sort of doing within this project, and how the Geonosians acted, the way they were bossed around, and if the leader said riot, they would riot. If they didn't have a leader, if they didn't have something to do, they would attack each other. It was just mayhem for that race. So I like the way they highlighted that, the ways that different races act. Then you get a return to a character who's in the Clone Wars, he's in Rebels now, the Twi'lek, Cham Syndulla. And he actually had quite a bit to do within the book, so it was kind of interesting to see his position that he placed. I mean, you have to have this connective tissue in some places. In this book, we have characters like Tarkin, we have things like the Death Star, planets like Geonosis, Coruscant. So it gives both hardcore fans, that little kick, hey, that character's here. But also new fans like a new character. But also a character that's interesting and builds upon the story, showing this force that he wants to bring to the rebellion. One of the moments that I will end on is whenever Palpatine is announced as the Emperor and the Jedi have been overthrown and Darth Vader is announced. Thought it was such a cool moment, the experience from a different perspective instead of the experience the way we saw it in episode 3. Talk about execution of the movie all you want, I'm just saying. And the way the Empire is sort of perceived from them. People aren't completely against them, but they're not for them. And the Jedi, while there are people who are still mourning the death of the Jedi in that time, it's basically gone off the map. People have moved on. Thought that was something interesting to go into. So anyway, if you've read Catalyst, tell me what you thought of it in the comment section below. Tell me how excited you are for Star Wars, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, whatever, in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that thing, it looks like this. Hit that in the comment section below. And subscribe because it makes me feel good, it makes me want to do more videos. So hopefully enjoy my review of this book, and may the force be with you, movie fans.